Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Right here, 1973 Super Beetle, the revival we've been doing. You've been hopefully watching, and I have been slowly petering my way through this between parts delays, and so on and so forth. Hopefully, this is going to be the last episode. Last episode, we got the thing running. It runs phenomenally well, but we need brakes. So that's what I'm getting into this one. Brakes, get them done. Replace the master. Bleed the system. Hopefully it's that simple. And the thing under here. Fuel float. Change out the fuel float. This one's not working. It just reads empty, even though there's fuel in there now. But I grind, if you grind, geez, words, I'm having a stroke here. If you ground out the sensor and it goes to full, your gauge is reading off that line. The ground system in that circuit is good, and you have a dead gauge or float leveler, what have you. Tell you how much fuel's in the tank is, I guess, what I'm getting at. So that, and got to put tires on. I have new tires. We're not running on these. So put some tires on, bleed the system. Basically, let's just get this thing on the road. Let me get this thing in the air, blow off some wheels, and yeah, join me with hopefully a cooperative master cylinder. All right, guys, first thing, as the car's up and the wheels are off, or wheel is off, so on and so forth. I don't know if you can tell up in here. I'll show you. You gotta do some housekeeping. She's a little, yeah, not the greatest. I need access. One thing I do have to say I like about the Supers is they're a little, still putting them in the car sucks, but the accessibility down here is a lot easier. You don't have to deal with 2 lines instead of 3. If they cooperate. All right. That's better. Now let's see. Master. I don't know how well you're going to see, like always, under the car, but it's here. Yeah, we got this in the way. Other Beetles, a little easier to film on. But brake light switches, let's unplug these. I still cannot tell where this car is leaking from. Or replace these soft lines too, just in case they're leaking. Not a big deal on that end. But big thing is, well, let me get these out. Break the switches. These guys are just out of the way. Makes my life easier and clearance better. I don't know why I thought those were 21s. Honestly, they could be, the world's the oyster as far as sizes go nowadays. I think it's just whatever vendor's cheaper, that sort of works. Oh, that looks yummy. Wires. Just go up here. Good news is there's fluid in here. Not the best, but fluid nonetheless. I am going to take a chance on running the switches because I've had not the greatest luck with new switches lasting more than a couple tries. Good news is if I do have to replace the brake light switches, I don't have to bleed the system down, or I've never had to. They typically cooperate. Unlike these lines. Oh, that one's moving. Good. I don't care if sounds bad, I don't care if I break the front to rear. I don't care if I break the front goer. I really care if I break the front or rear. Just get a little bit of cooking action in here. Alternate a bit. And hopefully a little bit of heat did it. All right, that one turned. That one turned before, but it's just gives me a little more peace of mind when I'm not seeing everything go nuts. The front, I'm going to let it soak. There we go. It's slowly coming out. Just working it back and forth. So I don't strip it, gall it, or, screw up this pipe. Because like I said, the front to rear is the last one I want to redo. I don't care about making a, 2-foot section. I care about making a 5-foot section. And taking out an interior to do it. I couldn't find any, also, I think I said this, I couldn't find any leaks in the car. I filled up the master. And, well, it was empty again by the time, we got to this point. Obviously, there's still fluid in it. So, I can't find a leak. I don't see anything wet. All the wheels, I keep saying cylinders. All the calipers seem legit good. Nothing leaking, no blown lines. So, I'm thinking, okay, that spins nice. I'm thinking and hoping when we pull this, the backside of the piston is going to be soaked. Oh, there we go. A little heat. A little heat and a jug of oil. Where's the other 11? As long as it's broke, I don't care. But yeah, just want to, same thing, take my time. Break up all the crusties that are in here and hopefully get it out. Pretty much I'm using it like a, if you guys ever tap something, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward. Hoping the motion of said ocean will break up whatever crud's going on. And I'm trying not to get greedy with it, as far as if it feels like it's going to stick, I'm going to back off. Because again, I don't want to make a line. If you watch this channel long enough, well, I don't mind doing it. I just don't want to do it. Yeah, this guy's cooperating. A little heat, a little jiggle and wiggle. Tip, not gonna say always works, but typically is your best shot. If you don't want to get into territory and replacing hard lines. Now sometimes it's unavoidable and the line starts to rotate regardless, and well, you're just screwed at that point. There we go. Yeah, that looks delicious. It does not. Where's a rag? I at least preemptively put floor dry on the floor. It's sort of doing something. All right. These hose clamps, let's get them off. Like I said, I'll replace these lines with new. Main reason is I'm going to pressurize the system and I don't feel like popping a line off. Honestly, I'll just cut them now. Well, it was holding fluid, that's for sure. That was the front, the rear wasn't. That kind of scares me a bit. guys, that's off. Rear had nothing in it. So I'm hoping that just means the rear was leaking past the rear seal when we pull this thing out. I'm hoping. All right, now for the fun thing. I'm gonna crawl into the cab, well, lower the car, crawl into the cab, pull the master, and then shove one in, and then we'll reconnect everything. There's 2 bolts behind the firewall, or behind the brake pedal. Just unbolt them. They're 13 millimeter. Pull them out, pull your master out, put your new master in, and then we'll reconnect. All right, I got it unbolted. I'm gonna jiggle wiggle it out so that we can look at the backside together. If I can figure out my light. Oh man, we're not having it. All right, here we go. I don't know if you can hear the fluid. But yeah, there you go. Jeez. She got the green death. Back of the piston blew out. So, let me throw a new one in, and well, you'll join me back under the car putting more stuff together. I like to install these things with, I want to make sure these nipples move first. Sometimes they're super stiff. This way when I put lines to it, I can reposition it. How were those? Yeah, they were both sticking out about this way. I like to install this with from here first, and basically try to get the lines to start and use the lines as a holder, I guess, lack of better terms. If you have 2 people, this part is so much more easier. But unfortunately, it is me, my lonesome, and I that have to get this thing back together. And I'm assuming most likely it would be you, your lonesome, and yourself as well. So, like I said, the reason I like starting these things first, or getting these things started first down here other than holding it, is so I know that these fittings are gonna fit and not cross-thread. Because I have, say, all the adjustability right now in the line between, I'm working multiple accesses. I have the line can be moved slightly, the master can be moved a lotly, so that in turn, gives me multiple angles of dangle, so hopefully I don't strip this. And ideally, you want to be able to thread it all the way down to stop by hand, but seeing how these are obviously used fittings or the factory fittings that were on here on these lines, sometimes that's not a viable option. But as long as they're running in with, say, gentle force, you'll know if you're cross-threading it or not, because if you have to put a lot of effort into it, I would honestly recommend running a die down the threads just to make sure that if you do have any galling or something like that, you're not going to screw it up. Yeah, I'm just going to run it down to snug. And like I said, it's just going to aid in holding this thing up. And I'll probably shove like a piece of a rag or something under here as well. But yeah, like I said, while this master's loose, you have multiple axes to jiggle wiggle and hopefully not cross thread like this one is trying to do. That's just snug. Those look like they're aligned. Might be able to come up just a bit in the back or in the front to lift the back. I'm looking at the old witness mark to hopefully get this all aligned. That seems as close as it's gonna get. All right. Let me hopefully get this thing bolted in there. And remember to bring my power ratchet. Put up on. I forgot the most important step. Make sure your push rod for your, brake master goes into your brake master. Sure didn't do that. And well, at this point, I'm not pulling that master out. So I'm going to remove it from here, pull it out, reset it, and then put it back in. Which is annoying because you got to mess with the brake spring on this style. Or at least get it unhooked. I screw up too, guys. Ah! I have to charge this flashlight. Also, restart my radio. All right, all this stuff goes here. Because I'm a professional human. All right, let's finish reconnecting this stuff. Fairly painless at this point. Again, master's in, nice and tight. You can't see nothing. Just take my word for it. It's up there. Lines, like I said, they're just on, but I want to give it tight and a eek. And then just get tight and a eek. That's it. Hopefully, if they leak, we have a problem. If they don't leak, I did something correctly. All right. I need to put feeder line on. Just want to get that oriented a little bit better. But yeah, just got to go beep, 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 boop, beep, beep. Connect those things. Brake line. New German blue. You might have seen me use different colors. I use, I think, red on my car. Everything I use doesn't matter. Actually, here's some red right here. This is brake remote line hose. It's just American size, 5/16 versus whatever Das German's size is, which I don't think is 5/16. All right, what's going to be the easiest way to do this? There isn't one, I know that. You don't have to yell at me, but we have to go from here to there. Thing is, they're in the clips. And I know I have other lines up at the top, soft lines. But if those don't end up leaking, we're not going to replace those. These typically are the pain in the butt ones that like to leak. All right, that one's slid on. I can trim a little bit off of this. Not a lot, just a little. And we'll just maneuver this back onto here. And by back on, I mean on this one for the first time. I should have hindsight started with this one. Or this side. Dang it. Just go on. Well, I mean, it's on. It's not right, but it's on. That is now on. Has a good run up, no bends, no kinks, good. This one's gonna suck. I'm gonna have to cut it longer than I want to. Just because I don't like the orientation. I might be able to spin it this way just a little bit. Spin it back this way just a little bit. We'll give it a little, we'll cut it a little long and then figure it out after that. And you go on. I don't like it. Oh, damn it. I gotta get it off. All right. Pliers. Didn't catch that one either. Oh, or that. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm dropping a bunch of stuff. I just want to try to re-angle this hose. The good thing is it's, there we go. It's metal, so it's fairly do what you want with it kind of stuff. Really, really hard to, like, you know, say, kink it and screw it up. All right, that's on. Now we can put this up. 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 Yeah. There. Much better. No kinks. It's ran right. I'm happy with that. Red wire's cut. Probably can't see that, but it is. Yeah. Cut, cut, and cut. Why, I don't know, but they are. All right. Brake light switches. I can shove that back up there. Let's get those in. Hopefully bleed this system, and we'll be good to go. I'm hoping this front to rear isn't busted, because there's a lot of moisture on this grommet. We're gonna find out. And back. I want to put a little, you don't have to, well, battery's gonna die, but I do put a little Teflon on these things just to, I don't know, make myself have the warm and fuzzies. They're an MPT fit, so technically they're fine. And like I said, even if I have to go back and replace one or both of these switches for some reason that they're not working, I haven't had to drain a system down or rebleed a system. So kind of why I don't, well, two reasons. I didn't order new ones. That's the main reason. Reason number two is, main reason I'm also installing them so I could bleed the system, see if everything's gonna hold, and then, you know, go from there. Now, my favorite part of this episode, will it bleed? I hope so. Full disclosure, I did go through earlier when I first got this car, and I checked all the bleeder screws. They do work. I did get fluid out of them. So, like I said, with the questionableness of the front end, or front to rear, that's the only thing I don't know about. So, let's start off by getting some fluid in this thing, and then I'll hook up my motive. I am low on brake fluid. Hello? Yeah, with what I was going on about, I think, was I made sure the bleeders worked, and I slid back the front calipers, so everything at least is cooperating currently, anyway. Come on. Trying to get it to just thread on. Thread on. There we go. It's supposed to make my life easier, not more complex. Again, if you watch this channel, no, I don't gravity bleed, or, well, yeah, I don't do that either. No, I don't bench bleed. I just send it. I'm going to take this thing to about 10 or 5. It's holding pressure. I don't hear anything hitting the floor, so that's good. I think I need, what were these rears? Where are the rears? I think they're a combination in betwixt 8s and 7s. That is not an 8. All right, 10. Are you a 10? It's not a 10. Am I just dumb? That would be probably check out. No, it's not an 8. Oh, 9? Is it really German? Okay, rears are 9s. And I think the fronts were like 8s or 7s. Because I'm here. If you watch this channel, I don't follow any procedures. I just do stuff. That little water bottle with a hose so I can watch what's going on. All right, front 7. All right, what do we got? We got bubbles. We got fluid. Bubble. Bubble. Fresh fluid hasn't even made its way in there yet. Slowly work our way around. I don't like this because we were moving fluid and now we're not. And we still have pressure. We might have to do an in-between bleed. So what I mean by that is I am going to also assist it by pumping the pedal. Oh, we know we got fluid at least sort of in the line. Let me check the back, see if we have flow back here before I go crazy with doing things. It's a dance, you know. I want to get this bleeder cover stuck. Get off. Okay. And again, it doesn't matter which way you go. I could have a clogged bleeder, too, with whatever gelatinous goo is in there. Let's pull that off. We're under pressure. It's fine. Zero flow. All right. we are not off to a good start. I don't know if you can tell, but that's kinked. It will not flow fluid through a kinked hose. Ah, damn it. Brakes, guys. Am I right? Ha 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 hoo. Let me get a zip tie. Wait. So I think I ran the master dry. And what I mean by master, I mean the front reservoir for the master. I'll grab a light. There. Stay straight. Doesn't help that I charged the system. But yeah, there's fluid in there, and there's fluid in there. There's fluid in the system still, but we definitely dropped PSI. Basically, what was happening is I was airlocking it. It couldn't breathe. Now let's try this. I want to say I bet you my motive works now. But we'll find out. All right, let's try this again, because I had a pedal, then I lost a pedal, then I had a pedal, then I lost a pedal, and that kind of sort of checks out because I'm a big dumb. All right, let's try this again. Cracking the bleeder. Fluid. Oh yeah, fluid and burping. Big burps. Hey, it's almost like the system's doing something now. Get off, wrench. There we go. Oh, shit. Air. Here we go. Bunch of air. Nothing. Seems good. Hopefully we have front brakes right now. Because I know you heard those brakes probably cracking. Oh yeah, would you look at that? When you bleed the system correctly, you get brakes. And there's a firm pedal for as much as that pedal will allow me. Crack it one more time on this, and then the other side, and then we'll go around to the backs. I just like to, double, triple check I don't have any air in the system. Cycle the pedal. I'm getting nothing. Ooh, shit, slipped. Yeah, there's. We got nothing back here. All right. Well, good news is front's good. Bad news is back's bad. Most likely, I'm hoping what's going on is the soft lines are screwed up. Expert diagnosis, collapsed. So they're not letting fluid through. I have my motive still hooked up. All the other lines cooperated. It would figure the one I really don't want to give me a hard time is, well, doing just that. So let me replace both these, and I'll show you what I was doing. Vice grips are on. the other way. I can barely get you up in here, but vice grips are on the, hey, there's so much stuff hanging around. There we go. Get the line wrench out. There. All right, vice grips are hooked on, basically holding the top of the bolt to the torsion tower, top of the torsion, so this won't move. Because like I said, you don't want to strip that, or you don't want to fatigue the lines. But let me get this thing down, unhook the motive, and we'll replace soft lines because it is leaking indeed. Or not leaking, it's holding pressure, but the lines are collapsed. And like I said, I have 2 brand new ones somewhere. I have 1 brand new one somewhere. I have another brand new one somewhere else. It's one of those things that was on the floor and then it wasn't. Shit. I swear I ordered 2. I can find a receipt. I will replace 2, regardless. Much in the eye. All right, now let me play mystery hunt for number 2, and just connect the motors. You'll join me in a minute. Shit, what did I do? Oh, there it is. Told you I bought 2. Sling clip 2. We'll replace those. Let me get this thing down. Yeah. 72. You probably can't see. 72. It's a 73. Let's do the right thing and try to blow in this thing and see if, oh, focus. I'd say it's I don't know if you could, I'd say that's kind of crappy. I doubt I can blow into it. Nope. Vintage. Vintage doesn't always taste good. No date stamp on this one, but usually they'll have a date stamp somewhere. The other one might. Hey, it's dripping. Nope. So that checks out. We got fluid coming out. Diagnosing. It's fun. Tight. I want to put new clips on. I typically do. I'm going to have to order new clips. A bunch of line nuts. I don't know, gives me the warm and fuzzies instead of reusing the old ones. Cleaning. Head stuck. There. All right, let me do the other side, same process. This side. And we're probably going to have to bleed them in the morning because when I depressurized my motive, it was pretty damn low. And I don't have any more brake. Shit. I don't have any more brake fluid. So let me knock this side out. Join me in the morning and we'll bleed the system. And yeah, change the gas thing. What time are we working on actually right now? This time change. I'm recording after the time change, so obviously everything's kind of weird to me, time-wise. But with that said, I got to change out the float. And take this thing out. I'm honestly going to probably leave the engine cover off just due to the fact that, well, going to leave the engine cover off. Main reason is so I can see what if I have to adjust anything or if anything happens, I'm not scrambling to get it open or something like that. Again, if you watch my videos, you know I typically will run an open engine cover for test drives. All right, guys, it is the next day. Filled up the motive. Let's crack this bleeder, bleed the rears, and well, hopefully have brakes. That was a lot of air. Good news is the front feels like it's holding. Oh, there we go. That was a good push. All right, let's tighten this side. Move on to the other. Bleed that side. Hopefully we'll be done. This side shouldn't have that much in it. Mainly the main run was already drained. Basically the front to rear line. We got hopefully all the air out of it. So now it's just whatever is residual in this line and the caliper. All right, that's open. I'll give it a couple pumps, blow that side out, and hopefully be good. Good fluid, no air. Stay like that. Come here. Where am I going to put you so that you fall over? He says how that works. All right. You can hear they're not locked. We get a couple pumps into the system to see, maybe not even a couple. Got to really shorten this rod. All right. It's just sort of depressed. Locked. Locked. Check on the fronts. Locked. And hopefully, driver's side is also locked. Yeah. All right, so 4 brakes are working. That's a positive. Motor's still on. I'm just checking for leaks. In the lines look good. Take that off. Let's just do a burp on this side. Yep, that's good. I should be unlocked. Nope, still locked. All right. Pressure off. Rotation. 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 So all the calipers are working, which is a huge bonus. Brake light switch. Let me plug them in because those, again, they're the old ones and it is currently my only unknown. And like I said, if they don't work, I don't have a problem with replacing them because I don't have to bleed the system down. Which one went where? Doesn't matter. I just indexed them for a certain way. All right, that's one plugged in. Where's the other dumb one? Come on. Stop holding that. And plug in. and plug in. Plugged in. All right. Switches are connected. I gotta load the car. Key on. Brake lights or brakes. Boop. And we have lights. So gamble on the switches actually sort of paid off. Come around this way. I don't need the motive anymore. Suck that back down. Brake lights on. I'm gonna use you guys while you watch so I can watch you. Brake lights on, brake lights off. On, off, on, off, on, off. Perfect. All right, those, good to go. So right now, we're down to, I guess I'll mount front tires so I can get them back on the wheels. I gotta see who's annoying me. Mount front tires. I have them over there somewhere. So we'll mount the front tires and mount balance, throw them on, and hopefully get the rears. I have to find the rears. It's been a bit. I've had them for a bit. But yeah, we'll do fronts and rears. The rears on this car are 185s, 65s, I think. I'm going to 195, 65. So it's going to have a little fatter profile left and right, or, you know, fat-wise. So let me get these things mounted. I've showed it in my videos. If you have a tire machine, you know what you're doing. If you don't, go to a place, kind of thing. But yeah, just beep, boop, 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 boop. I make the joke that it's easy. I do it the easiest way just because I have equipment. Yeah. Look at my levels. They were looking weird. It's probably weird, but let me get these done real quick. All right, gas is in. It's about a gallon or whatever. It moved it. We're about about an eighth right now on the gauge. The gauge could also be going out, so on and so forth. But I have my bore scope back in here, and the lower, you can tell, I don't know if you can really tell, but we're not hitting anything as far as the rod's concerned, and the float. Other way. Right there, the float is floating. So it's not submerged, it is moving. It's hard to tell, but the float is doing float stuff. So yeah, it's we're good. We're just reading low on the tank or whatever. So it's about an eighth of a tank that's right in there right now. With that said, let me get wheels on this thing, and hopefully next scene will be, well, I got to put the trunk mat and stuff on this, but hopefully next scene, we're on the road. Because, I should really turn the key off. But yeah, clean up the inside and we should be good to go. All right, not test drive quite this minute, but a short one to make sure she goes forward, backwards, so on and so forth. Because the last thing I want to do is find out that we can't even move. Everything's together. The gauge, well, I gotta address the gas gauge because it is not cooperating correctly. The seat is way far forward. Gas gauge currently is only reading about a quarter of a tank, and I have about a full tank in here. It might come around, but yeah, I threw my probe in. Tank's damn near full. It's the secondary float that's not reading. Fuel pump on. Neutral. Oh, like it's its job. All right. Oh, and I don't think I showed it. Oh man, this is a nice stiff clutch. I don't think I showed it, but I did service the transmission. Fluid that came out was good. Clutch is working, no weird noises. First gear, Ooh, nice. Brakes work, that's a plus. Reverse. Can't see nothing. As per normal. Reverse works. What the hell hit me? Oh, the back seat. Brakes feel good. Granted, the rotors are still rusted. So I mean, I can only tell so much. But she works. All right. Second gear. She'll move it in second. Third gear. She'll move in third and fourth. Struggles, but we know the transmission's holding. Hey, the gasket's slowly coming up. I'm almost at a half now. I don't know. It might come around. Might have to think. But the gauge is reading. It's just not reading the way I want it to. So it's either going to be the float itself. Unfortunately, I'm a dumb, and I put the interior back together, or under the trunk back together, so I can't easily probe it. I can drive it around, see what it does. Like I said, there should be about a full tank in here. I'd say at least 3/4 of a tank. So if the gauge starts to read 3/4, it just might be slow. Like the vibrator or the gauge itself just might be slow to react and need to wake up. But it's been slowly working its way up because after I put in, let's see, I put 3 gallons, 4 gallons. There's probably like 8 gallons in the system. So I should see at least 3/4 of a tank. I should be over half. So if the gauge goes over half, I just know it's just like me, lazy on some days. But with that said, everything's working. Headlights, taillights, brake lights, blinkers, so on and so forth. Wipers do work. You can see I dry drug them. Tomorrow, test drive. And I do like going with the, like I said, these were 185 65s on this car to begin with. I like the 195s just because it gives you a little bit of a little more stick out. The fronts I'm kind of limited to 145s, I think is what I put on. So they're a softer compound in the back. I figured I'd put a little bit of a softer compound just to, handle the motor. Also, all the suspension stuff, upgrades like that should help out with that. What was I going to say? Yeah, hopefully join me in the morning, and it's not raining because it's currently raining, and because time change, night. We'll get on the road. I got to drop off in the morning, so hopefully after the drop off, we'll take it for a quick rip, make sure everything's good. I'm probably going to hold on to this for one more week, depending on my videos. You might see the wrap up of this. You'll definitely see the test drive in this, but you might see the wrap up of this of doing the fuel gauge and so on and so forth. The button up part, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Nothing major, no major consequence episode if I do record it or not. But they're just quick fixes, everything I just did. If I have developments, I usually record, but I don't know if I'm going to make an episode out of it. I guess is what I'm getting at. But with my rambling aside, join me in the morning for a test drive. Afternoon. Join me tomorrow. All right, guys, test drive time. Well, the car is turned around because we had a delivery. So, yeah, we're turned around. I got to clean this glass. Not test drive time. Let me clean the glass real fast. But getting off to a later start than I wanted because we had wet roads, number one. And number two, I've been screwing around with this fuel filter or float. Checks out good on the gauge, or per my DVOM, it's reading full. I hooked up my secondary gauge to it and just floated it, put that to full. It reads more, but still not a full tank. I can't get a full tank out of it. I think either the vibrator or the gauge itself is messed up with the testing that I did. So let me clean these windows and let's get back let's get back to this and start this over with a test drive. Key on, pump on, fire up. It does run good. I gotta fix the back seat and also put the back seat in. I don't know if you can see, but that's not important for where we're going. All right, you gonna stay? Let's see what this does. Yeah, new drop-off, fuel-injected car. So far, feels good. Sounds good. Front end feels good. Tank's now reading a half. I might have heat on, which would be nice. I'm seeing if this gauge will come around, hopefully. Then I don't gotta mess with it. Brakes are high. They stopped me. I wasn't afraid. Blinker works. I don't see any fire or smoke. I am running with the engine cover off, just because, well, I didn't feel like putting it on. Also, I get a more accurate depiction if I have anything going on back there. But the air filters, everything how it was, is on there. It's just, well, missing the engine cover. Trans feels good, clutch feels good, engine feels good. Brakes feel all right, they're coming around. Remember, we didn't replace the calipers or anything like that, so they got to wake up a bit. But as far as stopping power, it's fine. A lot of it is we're resurfacing the rotors, I guess, for lack of better terms. It's idling really nice. I think I got to give it I don't know if it picked up in my mic, but she has a little bit of a lag. I'm going to double check the timing. I can't 100% know what I'm set at, but I might have to dial her back a bit, forward a bit. Oh yeah, I smell the heat working now. Burn off. If it's a weird jump cut, I'm still sitting at the light and not talking because I'm thinking. Taking in all the smells of something that hasn't ran in 5 years. Oop, we got a green light. Avante! Yeah, it feels like you use a little more timing. I am running his original distributor. It might just need to wake up some. Clear out some cobwebs. But I will double check the timing. I do have a slight pull to the right, left, driver's side, left. thing rides really good. I was expecting more of a bumpy ride with all the accoutrements, lack of a better term, it has on it, suspension-wise. No, not at all. I will say, and I say it sounds like I say this about all cars, this is one of the more solid Super Beetles I've driven. Overall feel, quietness, it's nice. Little chicane road. I don't want to push her too hard. She's just waking up. I say we give it a bill of health. I'm gonna go back to the shop. Yeah, once it warms up, it feels a lot better. Tank now. You know, I would be making a right-hand turn right now, except dipshit in the truck doesn't know what the stop lines mean, so I can't see. So I'll just sit here and go straight. I do like the transmission. I know I think it's a Rancho. Can't remember what he said. It's a built transmission. It is getting warm in here. The heat is working nicely. It's a built transmission. It has some nice legs to it. It's probably like a freeway flyer gear. So what are they, 3 and some change? 90s? 73s? I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But definitely you can feel it has some longer legs. It does shift really nice. And usually I'm not a fan of these T-shifters. Probably every video you've ever heard me drive with them, they suck. This one's nice. Have legs. All right, let's go to the shop. I don't know if I'm going to close out this video or say more words, but go back to the shop nonetheless. Mainly I want to maiden voyage of the engine. I don't want to go too crazy with it, just in case we have an oil leak or, you know, no oil. The lights are off. But this thing drives super good. Nice day for it too. I will go back through the brakes and just double check them. But yeah, wait for my next ramble. All right, back in the shop for right now. Fuel tank's doing whatever it wants. We're at 3/4 right now. It's not the float. I think it's the gauge. Yeah, it's not the float. I think it's the gauge. Obviously not my typical oh, it's my stupid tire machine. Whew. I don't know if that hissing picked up, but I thought we had a problem. But anyway, digressing back to regressing, making sure it's not blowing up. Ran great. I know it wasn't my typical test drive. Like I said, I just wanted to get some miles on this thing. We'll probably do another test drive. See, I'm going to hold on to this car just a little bit longer. I want to re-go through the brakes, make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. I had a little bit of a pull to it. What else? Brakes, fuel gauge. I ordered another float, but I don't think it's the float. I sincerely think something's wrong with the gauge. Gotta call him up on that one, see if he wants to go further diagnostic. It will read numbers, so that's a good thing. It's not like it's not telling you anything. So I mean, that's just personal opinion or discretion on that one. You'd run out, but you know, I wouldn't be too concerned about it, I guess is what I'm getting at. But it ran great. I don't want to put too many miles on it. Hot start. Yeah, we got a half tank. Yeah, half a tank now, a little more. There, it just went boop, jumped. We're above half tank. So that gauge might come around. It's reading. Like I said, I probed the tank. I put on my other float, and it was doing things. As far as my other float, the highest and standard Beetle float, they read the same image. The highest I was able to get this thing to go is 3/4. So knowing, and both tanks, both on full, they're like 13 volts. Excuse me, ohms on my one sender full, and then what the car is reading right now is 13 ohms. So they should ostensibly be reading full. This does not. So with that said, I'm gonna let it cool down. Go over it again. It's probably I want to dump the oil and get it on a little bit more of a drive. Check the time. You know, go through the odds and ends. But right now the car's pretty buttoned. It feels good. It really does. I want to check the timing. I might give it a little bit more. It does feel like it has a little bit of a prepara. So I don't know if it's timing or distributor. Like I said, it is the original distributor. Shut up, phone. But seems like we're moving in the right direction. Delivery will be soon after the debacle of having this car way too long. So with that said, join me on whatever camera I'm doing next. Might just do another drive cam. Like I said, I don't have that much really to do. It's just going to be a rack up, make sure everything's tight, nothing's falling off, dump the oil, so on and so forth. With that said, I screwed up and I parked the wrong direction. I have to park that way to go back up onto my left. Shit. All right. Join me on whatever camera I'm going to record on. But we're looking good. Like I said, it's either going to be a wrap up or another test drive. Not sure where we're going to go with, because really it's an oil change and just you know, if developments happened. Oh, it has blue seatbelts. I never pay attention to seatbelts. I don't wear them. I don't recommend that. But all right, let me turn this stupid thing around. Float is reading. This float was working. The problem was, well, we have a dead spot in our gauge, which again, not the end of the world, but it sucks. And oh yeah, I have my bore scope plugged in. I don't know if how well you guys can see. Sorry if I sound a little nasally or dejected, but I am. Let's see, rotate. All right. Get where I want you to get. Wait, record. I want to record, not photo. I think that's recording. Or not. Anyway. Man, it's going to be hard. You won't be able to see, and I can't really move things because it's going to move everything. That's the bottom, or that's a small float. It's resting on the bottom as it should. You can tell that, I don't know if you can, but this metal rod right here That's for the lower float. It's clearly going to clear that baffle. So this is all working as it should. It's not binding, it's not hitting. Like I said, you might be able to see. I can go in betwixt, get under the things. That's clearly dead center. That's leveled. And let's not get this stuck. Rotate the other way. And that's clearly on, that's the other float is clearly on the bottom. So follow the rod up, it goes through the baffles, and then that one's sitting. So everything is calibrated the best that it can be calibrated the way that it is. We know the one tank's reading empty. Stop. I lost it. It's like driving in the abyss. We know that this tank's reading empty because, well, this arm is reading empty. It's not lift. It's obviously there's no gas to lift. There's no gas to lift this one up to move. I lost everything. To move that one with the arms. When fuel gets on to the lower, it'll lift this and we'll lift the other ball. So like I said, I already scanned in there. So there's gas in there. Zoom out. Like I said, I already scanned in there with fuel in, and I knew what I was looking at, and there's no issues. Like I said, the problem is we got a weird dead spot in the gauge. So let me get something set up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, because I have an old vibrator that works, but I do have a brand new gauge and a new vibrator. The vibrator really doesn't matter. I haven't had too many issues switching vibrators out. I have problems with the gauges themselves, but this is a brand new gauge. Let me get a mock setup going, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, these gauges typically only read half tank when they're full. So there's too much resistance in here, in the actual gauge unit itself, if you own them out. So give me a minute. Let me get something set up, and I'll be back, I guess. And dirty, show you what the hell I'm going on about. Try to get some light onto that gauge so you can possibly see what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to replace the battery. All right, this is just down, dirty, wired. Fuel float is grounded to the battery. The gauge, the vibrator, it's grounded. Power wire to the vibrator. And then, like I said, wire to that. Right now, the gauge is set to empty. We'll connect power. That needle should move a bit. Man, it's slowly moving. You could also calibrate these gauges, but we're on empty. If I move this thing up some, our gauge is moving. I'd say that would be about a quarter just going on this. Looking at the arm, that's probably about a half. You can see it's moving, but there's so much resistance in this. Now half a tank is, well, like I said, it moves slow. I'll show you a full tank. This would be all of 10 ohms. And you'll see it'll stall out. You typically right around a half tank. Watch, this is the time it calls me a liar. I'm not going to say I'm happy it didn't call me a liar, but that's about what happens. Might start to go up a little more, but you very rarely get a full tank out of these things. When they're installed correctly, like I said, there's a lot of impedance in them. But yeah, so we're stalled out at, say, 3/4. Back it off some. So as you see, I actually have a range of motion on this one compared to the other one. Yeah, this thing's nose diving as well, but it's at least reading something. Now let me see if I can get it to come up some, because right now we're stuck between quarter and that. Just moving that arm. It's not full. We know full is about 3/4. I want to see if that moves. This one's doing the same damn thing. Like I said, I'm fighting resistance. Let me see what we got going on right now as far as resistance goes. Bad thing doing this is I know the components are good, but I know I'm also fighting things because they never read correctly. So it's kind of hard to show you what I got going on. I gotta disconnect something. Just connect sender. Can't disconnect sender. I'll just take the ground off. There you go. Right there, 35, 29 ohms. Full tank should be 74. Or, I mean, sorry, 10. So we're at 9. A little under 21 ohms. Watch that gauge rise. The gauge is set to 21 ohms right now. Like I said, it reads, it moves. It's just not reading or moving accurate, because right now it should be damn near 3/4 of a tank. Yeah, I would say around 3/4-ish, because we know we don't go to full. Send it to 9. Actually, we'll just go a little under 9 and see what it reads. It's slowly climbing. Turn the ground off again. But, like I said, this is the fun stuff I get to fight with. Put the ground back on. Like I said, the gauge works. It's just not working as intended due to the fact that there's too much resistance in it. So, yeah. And empty. We'll go a little above empty. As long as it gets kind of close, you know, it doesn't, these things aren't accurate. Even the original ones, they're not really that, I mean, they're accurate, but they're not like accurate. As long as I can see full, and I can see something in the middle, and it reads empty. Basically, I want it to say full, I want to see empty, and I want to see, well, you know, there. But I don't want it to get stuck, I guess is what I'm getting at. And like I said, if I put this in the car, it's going to do the exact same thing that it's doing out here, as far as the readings go. All right, we're not on empty. We're about reserve. Put it to empty. Yeah, it's slowly moving, but it's going down. All right, guys. I think I quasi have this fuel centering correctly, or correct enough to where I'll be able to live with it. I did order a new sender, a new vibrator. They're all going to check out the same. I think I showed the ohms. These ohm out a lot higher than they should. The vibrators really don't matter. Vibrators, I've had them work with factory gauges. I've never had a aftermarket gauge work out of the box without, say, reading half or whatever, and that's with the aftermarket vibrator, voltage regulator, whatever you want to call it, or the factory one. The problem has always been the gauges. Sometimes I get lucky and they work. Most times they don't. I've been through 2 gauges so far, and I have a brand new one that just arrived today and sending unit. I haven't tested it, nor am I going to, because I'm this far invested in this one. And I guarantee I'm going to waste my time. It's going to do the exact same thing. So what I have is I might order all these parts again and make a video on it. But because this is the first time I'm using this kind of, I don't know, cheating method, I'm just going to kind of walk you through it and use it on your own devices. Don't ask me too many questions, I guess, because I don't have the answers currently, except it's working. Or is working as a bench test, as in yesterday. I basically got it all calibrated, or I feel I got it all calibrated or calibrated close enough. And what I have right now is I left it basically sit open for 24 hours or unplugged for 24 hours to make sure it doesn't lose, programming. So what I have here, let me just show you. This is basically like a transformer. It boosts the signal. It cheats the signal. Basically, they're designed to make gauges work. So, say you have a 73 to 10 ohm float, and you have a GM fuel gauge, so 0 to 90. They're a converter. They can make it work. There's a screw in there. It's a whole process. Like I said, I'm not familiar with them. First time using it, so please don't ask me too many questions. Other than this fact, or this aftermarket gauge is reading, or was reading, pretty close to where I would think it would be. You need the gauge. You obviously need a sending unit to program the gauge, or program the box to talk to the gauge. This box is working like a middleman, I guess is what I'm getting at. So let's see. Can you see the gauge? Yes. All right. Key on. This wire would technically be key on. It turns the box on. It turns the vibrator on, or whatever. And that needle hopefully should slowly move, or whatever, to E, which, I mean, it's at it right now. But it is actually slowly creeping. It would be like, say, the start position of wherever this sender would be. You can see it's moving. All right. Half a tank. Well, I'll assume quarter of a tank. Remember, this gauge never read above half, or, it did kind of whatever it wanted to do. So, she's moving. It's slow, but, I mean, it is moving. And, again, I don't know if it's the slowness is the box, or that, or just the way I have it programmed, but it is moving up. And then, being slow really doesn't matter to me so much, just due to the fact that, about a quarter of a tank are on reserve, so that'd be about an eighth. Being slow doesn't matter because you're not going to drop your fuel that much. Stick her up, I don't know. I'm guessing halfway. Needle to move. And like I said, I didn't, as far as the fuel gauge itself goes, I didn't really, I don't know, I'm guessing on, half tank, so on and so forth. I didn't like ohm it out to find proper readings to where, say, this gauge would read, say, properly. So, it creeps up, it'll move. We're almost at half. Well, not really. We're over a quarter. This tank basically would be saying, I guess, full already. I think your angle's a little different than mine. Yeah. All right. Move it up to what I would assume to be 3/4. Like I said, just moving that arm up. We couldn't break it, and, well, we're now moving past it. So about 3/4 of the tank-ish. And again, just move the sender to full. Boop. Boop. Everything's going wrong. Move the sender to full. And after a little bit of a debacle, it's moving to full. There we go. So now using this, it's a little under full, but I mean, whatever. I didn't say. With these senders, it's a little finicky to get them, or with this box, what I've noticed, and even the sender, because it's like, slow to react. It's creeping. Trying to get it dialed exactly at, say, the hash marks was a pain. It took me probably about, let's see, I use this just to watch voltage, make sure I was turning in the right direction, but it took me probably, this thing times out in 15 minutes. It took me about 15 to, say, 25 minutes to program this thing. But we're reading full now. So, gauge is this is now calibrated to this unit. So, this as a unit has to be, give or take, installed together. I'm not going to say this won't work with another vibrator or something else, but I have this whole shoot and match calibrated together. I'm going to plug it into the car, put, say, 7 gallons of gas in it, which, like I said, should be about three-quarters of a tank. We'll wait. And like I said, you can see how slow it reacts. So when you're trying to fine-tune this, it's really a pain in the butt, because you got to basically fine-tune it and then walk away. Yeah, like I said, it's slow. It's really slow to react. Like I said, it's moving through things. But gauge drops. In other words, if I put 7 gallons in here, I should see, even with a bad, whatever, I should see what I should, more than half. If it reads more than half, I know that, well, we made progress and the thing should read full. It's going to read full correctly. It's going to read empty correctly. What it decides to do in the middle, because I guessed the middle, and also it's working off of this stuff. Because we're, say, a little over half. We're a little over half. What it does say in the middle is, well, whatever, basically, I guess it figures itself out off of a data point that I put in. So, with that said, this was, I think it was like $50 or something like that. And, say, a half hour of my time with wiring and everything else. But it is doing what it says it's going to do. I can read the gauge. I can read this float. And I'm just programming for this float because I know that float reads. We checked it. It's brand new. It doesn't matter. New doesn't mean good, but I know it's doing numbers right. But as you can see, it's over half. Because I have it set over half. If I raise that arm, it should go up slowly like it is. So I feel more confident in putting this whole shoot and match in, which is great because there's more wiring. And, like I said, 3/4 of a tank. It's like, once everything starts to warm up, it starts to move quicker, which is fine. But it's just really slow to react to begin with. And like I said, I don't know if it's the box or just the gauge just dragging his feet. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm about 3/4 of a tank. We got 3/4 on here. I think that arm would be 3/4. We'll see what happens. Let me get all this stuff wired in, and I used a long red wire to go from this to the sending unit, hopefully mimicking whatever, say, ohms, if there is any resistance in the tank to sender wire. Trying to compensate for everything, so when I plug it in, this is excessively long, so hopefully, that should be technically lower ohmage, lower impedance with a shorter run. I mean, it's still going to be pretty much zero, but I mean, just, I don't know, it'll talk faster. But all right, let me get this wired in. We'll dump the gas back into the car and see what happens. Hopefully, it's going to read above half. Like I said, if it reads above half, we know we have 7 gallons, about a little more, a little less, just right about there. And that would be simulate key off. We know it's about there, so if it reads above half, I'm happy with it, I guess is where I'm getting at, because this thing's fought me. But yeah, this whole assembly is going to get installed in the gauge spot as an assembly. So the vibrator, everything. And then, yeah, hopefully it works, I guess is what I'm getting at. So let me get this installed and then I'll report back. Real quick, just for reference, this is the old gauge that's out, well, obviously out of the car, wired correctly, grounded, so on and so forth. It's set up exactly how it would come out of the car. It's rating almost full tank per this. So almost full. I'm float sender full. I'm going to move it to 3/4. and I want to see what this gauge is going to do. Because before it wouldn't read, before it wouldn't read 3/4, it'd read about half, and then it just kind of did whatever it wanted to do. Right now, yeah, we're about little over half, and it's still coming down. I don't know how well it's picking up, but that needle's twitching. Yeah, we're coming back down. We're about half. I'm not even at half. This is kind of the reading I was getting with the 3/4 of a tank. I'll move it to about where I had half tank on the other one and see what we got. So right about. I mean, it's reading low, obviously. Yeah, like I said, this is the exact gauge that came out of the car. This is what I was fighting. This is why I couldn't get an accurate fuel reading, and kept, checking everything. I didn't think that the gauge itself would be doing what it's doing. Like I said, we're stalled out there, and we're about a half. Send it to E. It'll go to E. And yeah, just no resistance. It'll go straight to E. And like I said, the sweep is good because if you take the sending wire off and you ground it, it should read full. Like I said, she starts to act funny right around 3/4 of a tank. Here, we'll slide it right onto the ground, or right onto a ground. Oh, damn it! Slide it right onto a ground probe. So I'm out of the equation. Yeah, full tank. So the gauge is clearly the issue. Let me continue putting the other one in, but I just wanted to show that yes, the gauge does function, but no, it's not functioning as it should. It's not giving me proper readings. Hence why diagnosis on some things takes forever. Focus. Boop. Whatever. Diagnosis on some things just takes. It's just the nature of the beast. It takes forever on some things. Especially because I question myself, because I tell everybody I want you to have the best product you can possibly have, and well, if I'm not happy with it, I'm not gonna. Why'd you stop tracking? If I'm not happy with it, I don't expect you to have to live with it, I guess is what I'm getting at. So like I said, let me finish throwing in that gauge, put some gas in it, and hopefully everything's good. Excuse me. I'll report back. See, no, I'm not completely messing with you. We're going to fill this thing up together. Like I said, there's about 7 gallons between these two is what we drained out. We're going to put 7 gallons back in it. And I want it to hopefully read above. By hopefully put 7 gallons in means I'm dripping on the floor. But anyway, I need it to read above a half. And if it reads above a half, I am completely fine with that. Because the 7 gallons is a guesstimate. All right, shall we do a check? That should be about 2. I'll kick it on, and we'll watch the gauge together. Do I have the ignition unplugged? I do not. Not that it matters. Gauge is moving slowly. So we know we're reading. It's in the reserve. So we know 2 gallons gets us in the reserve. Yeah, it's about dead center reserve right now. All right. Now for the other 5. Regret my decision not to use a funnel or the spout. All right, 7 gallons minus whatever floor dribble. Oh, put that under my shirt. All right, Keon. Oh, I'll get you guys. So we know that 2 gallons puts us into the reserve, a little over 2 gallons. I could have watched this gauge completely, but you can see it's slowly going up. Like I said, for me to consider this to be a success, I need it to go past half. Because I know we have 7 gallons in here. 7 gallons would be more than 5-ish. So as long as it goes a little bit above half, I'm completely fine with it. So it's still creeping. This might take a minute because, well, if you saw it, the gauge is slow to respond. Come on. Still moving, but it's slow. I'll get back to you. Ugh. We'll just leave you running. But I'll get back to you when it goes. Grounding's off the ground. Like I said, I'll just talk to you. Ground is off the center, which the center is reading the gauge. So that's all the same. The power I splice into the electric fuel pump, which is nice. And then the signal in, signal out is all doing its thing. And I hear it has a very electronic sound. So I hear the thing buzzing. I don't know if it picks up in my mic. So I know it's still sending signal. I found out that it stops sending signal when it goes basically quiet. So it's still trying to move, say, that needle. I don't know. Can you guys hear electronics? It's just a very high-pitched whine. Where are we at? We're still moving. Again, it's slow, but we are still moving. Takes a minute. Bolting down the tank, but it's still moving. We're barely above half right now. Like I said, I'm not really sure on where I programmed this damn thing. I kind of guessed on halfway. So we're above half. If it gets a quarter, it gets a quarter. It should, well, I don't know what you're looking at. Should read full. I'm not really concerned about that. Like I said, it'll read at least in the red when it gets to whatever ohm I have it at that, and it'll get to full. So what it's going to do in the middle, I don't know. It might have a quick drop from full to half and then do whatever. But at least it's going to read full, and it will read somewhere in the half. And I still hear that thing buzzing. So I know it's still, well, ostensibly doing a thing, I guess is what I'm getting at. We're still reading where we were reading. That gauge might climb some more. I don't know. I know we got 7. And again, it could just be the way the thing is, angled. It has 7 in it. It should be over half. It is over half. I want to fire this thing up. Woo. see if that changes anything, and also if a float was stuck, I want it to unstick. Yeah, a little over a half. I'm okay with it. All right, I guess next plan is clean out the trunk. And actually I'm gonna clean out the trunk. We'll take it for a drive one more time because I do want to scrub these brakes in again and swap the pads because I do have new pads. I want to put new pads on this thing so the owner's getting, basically, like I said, I want to use these old pads to clean the rotors, resurface them, you know, and then we'll go at it again. I'll swap it and put new pads in. Oh yeah, I gotta tighten this. All right, guys, back in the car. Like I said, want to do one more test drive on this thing to make sure it's good. The engine's solid, or it feels solid. I want to make sure, well, the gas gauge is working, speedometer is working again. I didn't, like, you know, screw up and not connect something or it's not working correctly. Mainly scuffing the brakes again because I want to change out the pads. Like I said, I'm just using the pads that are on here for a, I don't know, re-hone them, lack of better terms, clean up the surfaces. And get the engine warm because I want to change the oil one last time before it leaves. This is on its second oil change. Yeah. Break-in engine, first test drive. This will be the second, so it'll leave on a third oil change. Kind of what I always do when I do engine rebuilds or these revivals. If you watch it long enough, you know I keep the engine pretty clean. All right, what do we do? Key on. She good. All right, join me on the road. It's gonna be a quick test drive. Just make sure, like I said, everything is working as it should. Blinker's still working, so, I mean, all right, I'll be back. Just as before, we're just, like I said, I just want to drive it, make sure everything's working. Speedometer is working, so at least that's connected correctly. Super Beetles, man, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just a weird angle, but I do have a decent reputation for forgetting to connect the speedometer cable. I mean, I fixed it in the end, but, you know, it'd be nice not to have to pull everything apart to do it. Fuel gauge is doing fuel gauge stuff. It's showing about what it was yesterday. It's about a little over half. I'm probably going to put like another, let's say we have 7 in there. I'll probably put another 2 gallons in just to see if that does move higher, or 3. Like I said, the gauge should read full, which isn't a problem. It's just kind of, I guess, what that computer brain thing's doing, figuring out whatever. Plus it's not, oh, why is someone calling me? Hello, America's sweetheart.
What's going on, my friend? Been a little sore this morning?
No, little hungover.
I wasn't hungover at all. I woke up this morning and I was like, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna go back to 6. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I am sore as can be right now.
Yeah, that's basically. Well, I mean, my dogs woke me up at 5, so I couldn't sleep off the previous, the night. So I was like, I'm not making golf.
You wouldn't happen to be out in your garage, are you?
Let me guess, you're looking for your shit.
Yeah.
I already put it in the front seat of my vet.
My Dodge keys.
You got keys, 3 packs of cigarettes, and your hat.
Damn.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm on a test drive right now. I was gonna call you when I got back because I just moved it. I just saw him on my desk through my vet because I had to move, and I figured I'd see him either today or tomorrow.
You need to come grab those keys.
Yep, I have them. I'm out on a test drive. If you head my way now, I'll be back by the time you get to me.
I'll probably head out that way about 55 minutes. I gotta do a couple things real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll be home by then. All right, later, mate. All right, bye. Don't talk and drive. Yeah, gas gauge is still kind of wandering some, but it's fine. The engine's running solid. Again, the brakes aren't bad, like stopping power. I just want to put new pads on, obviously. Because I've had problems with old pads just delaminating, especially when they start getting rust buildup on those plates. So, rather than losing a shoe or a pad, we'll remedy that by putting new ones on. This thing does run really good. It's idling nice. Shifting, no backfires, not doing anything out of the, what I would say, out of the norm. Owner's going to be pretty happy with it, I would hope. And I think I said this. It's not just because I say this way. It feels like I say it with every car. But it's always like an ascending order. This is probably one of the best handling Super Beetles I've driven. It definitely was built right. Downshift's fine. Engine brake's fine. No pops, nothing weird. I still gotta bend this clutch pedal out. Shoot, I forgot about that. He did ask that. I'll do that obviously before he picks it up. He's actually coming tomorrow. Today is a Saturday. Today is Monday's video, I think. So, yeah, there's this final crunch for him, for him to get the car. But everything's working. Like I said, everything is working. I'm happy with it. I got to put together the interior as I should or need to. Put the rear seat back in. I don't know if you can see, it's just floppy right now. Put the rear seat back in. I pulled the fuse panel down because I didn't know if I was fighting a power issue to this fuel gauge. But it's solid. Like I said, I just wanted to get some mileage on it. Get some heat in the engine so we can change this oil out again. But yeah, it's a good car. I'm happy I bought heads for this thing and didn't try to nickel and dime. Not saying it wouldn't be on the road because I wanted that extra, say, $500 in parts cost. But it's just not the way I do business. All right, back to the shop. Join me on the big cam. Quick, just on the GoPro. Pads are in. New pads. Came apart nicely. Where the hell did the old pads go? I just had, oh, they're there. I was like, I just had the damn things. They weren't that bad. Wear was even on both of them. I see some chunking was taken out of this one. But you can tell how impregnated it is with all, sitting, and how rusty they are. Like I said, I've had it to where these separate before. Rust to build up underneath the, basically between the steel and the braking material, and pop it off. These also a pain in the butt to get out sometimes. But those are in. Just going to keep working my way around, putting new ones in. Oh, whenever you do these, make sure you clean up your pins, your slide pins, wire wheel or whatever you want to use. Make sure you clean those. Don't just ram them back in so that they can actually float and do their job. So, all right, button up that wheel and just keep going on the process. We'll do the other front, and I'll do the rear. Might as well work on one side at a time, I guess. But yeah, this is rear disc as well with e-brake. So I'll be back. All right, guys, as always, developments have happened. I noticed this, but didn't notice this all at the same time, or didn't take it really into account at the same time. Kind of dismissed it. Go back to the white sand rail I did when I put rear disc brakes on. I had to redo a whole bunch of stuff. I have pads, so it's not that I don't have the pads for it, but I'm opting not to do them. Main reason is, perfect. I wanted it down there anyway. Main reason being, this is a hard line that goes to the caliper. Get off there. The big problem with this is I cannot move this caliper. Also, it's a floating caliper, so it moves. This should be rubber. You can see it's a little rusted. So these are probably gonna have to be replaced sooner than later. Ford's next brake change. But with that said, I got my buddy here. I'll be right back. But anywho, the gentleman I was on the phone with and had beverages with last night, he showed up and grabbed his stuff. Anyway, what I was getting at is I'm opting not to do the rears on this car just because, well, if I break a line, it's not a good thing. They're working, the pads look good, wear-wise, the rotors look fine, so on and so forth. If he wants to get it done, I'm gonna have to redo that entire brake, the entire brake to, say, my liking. Like I said, complete oversight on my end. Not really a big thing, but you need a flexi line, because what's happening is when that caliper moves, because it's a floating caliper, it's not fixed. When this caliper moves, it's actually flexing this line. So hard lines don't like to flex, hence why I usually just put a rubber down. So that is what it is, unfortunately, on that one. Brake lines look good. No leaks, so we'll do the other front and call it a day on that. Put the engine cover on, and we'll wrap up this video. Everything is, well, I still got to drain the oil. Oh, and I got to put the new belt on. I did get one. Just never put it on. This one's in good condition, but I'll know it isn't. It's cracked. It's cracking. But yeah, we'll change out the belt, change the oil, so on and so forth. No leaks. I'm happy. Again, why RTV, you probably can't see in there. Why RTV does push rod tubes. I've had them leak before. So, finish this thing up, and I'll wrap up this video. Oh, I still need to connect the road draft tube from here out the car. I think I gotta get tubing. All right, I'll be back. All right, guys, before I close out this video, let me find a flashlight. Car is running, all that. The only thing I did was I put another gallon of gas in it. So we have, say, 8 and some change now. And yeah, we are 3/4 of a tank. So, I mean, it's working. Like I said, it's just gonna read like I said, it's just going to read what it wants to read. But yeah, now there's about 8 gallons plus what we drove on, so a little less than 8. Not by much. I wasn't that heavy of a foot. But yeah, gas gauge is working. It was the last thing I wanted to double check and confirm that works. So with that said, let me get the legs on you. Yeah, cleaned up, road draft tube on, car's ready to go. It's actually getting picked up today. So the owner will be able to enjoy it and yell at me before you see this episode. So let me get you guys set up and I'll close this one out. This is the last time I'm cutting an outro. Whatever this turns out to is going on. 73 Super Beetle. Boop, boop. It's done. Went from locked up to running. And well, little over, I think, a month and a half due to shipping. Not my fault. Well, yeah, not my fault. I don't do shipping. The packages are still at UPS if anyone cares. Probably not. But brakes work. New ran it on the old pads. Pad slap new ones, argue in the comments. I don't care. They're cheap. You can eat a set of pads to bet them. Rears, we didn't touch because I don't like the way it's ran, and I wasn't going to take the liability of breaking a hard line. It's just me. I do go back to the white sand rail, soft line on a floating caliper because, well, it moves. You know, it moves. Metal don't like to move. Just saying. It's lasted this long. I'm not going to say it's going to last any longer or any less, but it's just me and my brain. No. Bad. Brakes are done. Engine, whatever, 1759, 1760, depending on how you want to rule displacement as far as cylinder shims and low compression. It's done. It's performing as cold. Little boggy, a little chunky. No chokes. And, you know, don't let it warm up. Just drive it. It comes out of it is what I'm getting at. Warm, you tune engines for warm, it's fine. Running the cheapest gas I can get, so whatever the hell regular is, I'd never pay attention. It's just, beep, 87? It's an 87 tune I'm going on. Low compression engine, it's fine. It doesn't need premium. It's not going to change it running warmer or cooler. One of these people say their premium makes it run cooler because you got to dump more fuel to the fire. Look it up, I'm not getting to octane specs. But anyway, car's done. Headlights, brake lights, gas gauge, everything works. The car, honestly, has been a joy and a struggle, obviously, to work on. But this is probably, and I say it with almost every car I drive, which sounds redundant, or like I'm lying at this point. But at this point, this is my favorite driving Super Beetle. I think one of the green ones was my last favorite driving Super Beetle. But this one's quiet. It's quiet. It rides good. It has good bits on it. I think I've said it in some other videos. Suspension set up right. No vibration out of it. No weird death wobble. I got it up to a little faster than I should have. But it works. That's all that matters. It's an enjoyable car. Hopefully the owner's happy with it. Might come back on a channel for other things. I know he's speculating he might want to do. If that happens, it'll be back. But it'll come back for, like I said, as long as I didn't make him mad. 200-300 mile checkup just to change the oil, make sure everything stays in spec, and if there's anything within the 200-300 miles, unless it's like absolutely it needs to be fixed now, it can get addressed then. But with that said, I'm gonna cap off this video. Hopefully we don't see this again on next Monday because something went wrong, and if it does, I'm probably gonna have like a video before then just to explain why it's back on the channel, or you see it in the background. But if you like this video, however it came out, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you do, I promise you, we will chit-chat. As always, thanks for watching. Hopefully, see you on the next one. I gotta get better at outros. I really do. I mean, 9 times? That's ridiculous.